Hello and welcome to Dinish Guarda Cities ABC Open Business Council series. Today to talk about BTCU and as well a project that firstly I am involved, point one, and legal disclosure as well. I'm endorsing the project as well ambassador for strategy, and quite excited because the ambition is massive and I'm an ambitious guy as well. So I'm quite excited about this project. So I want to welcome to our series Eric Ma, that is the CEO of the founding team of BTCU, and I'm quite excited about talking with him. So first of all, welcome to our series, Eric.
Thank you, Dennis. It's my pleasure to be at Cities ABC, be on your show.
Okay, fantastic. So Eric, I will start by looking at your CV. So it's really a very impressive CV. So you are the CEO of BTCU, which is a blockchain solution, and you're going to be elaborating on that. That starts with a fork of Bitcoin, but as well trying to create a tokenization marketplace for multiple different digital assets, and as well atomic swaps. So in terms of your background, so previously you've been working in different scenarios of technology and crypto. And as well, you came to BTCU as an exceptional leader with a strong experience in building groundwork, especially in the expansion of companies and communities. And as well, you have a big background in terms of the importance of community, and as well the layers that position the crypto industry and the blockchain, because you've been actually working both with global companies and organizations on this area, but as well exchanges, and as well with different multiple countries and legislations, regulators, and as well different people from the community worldwide of DLT and blockchain. So as BTCU, you've been looking and you're going to be looking at the technology innovation and as well building the community, and as well bringing a team of reputed people worldwide that will be working with the people that we have presently. So in the past, you have been working as community manager for CoinMarketCap, that is the world's most trusted source for crypto market capitalization, pricing, and information. And previous to that, you've been working as well as CEO of Bion, a world-leading cryptocurrency exchange for digital asset professionals and enthusiasts that was established in May 2018 in Singapore. And you're joining us right now from Taiwan, which is a quite international background as well. So I'm quite excited to welcome you here and as well to talk about your multiple background and experience. So I'll start with my first question that I think is quite important and relevant for this. So I would like to hear a bit of your background and profile. I always like to start by that because every person has an history, and that history normally makes them very special, but as well it brings culture, nuances, education, families, and sometimes trauma or successes and failures, but that makes what people are. So I would start by that, a bit of your profile and background.
Sure. Do you want to go back all the way till when I was first born?
If
I'm
you
just
want.
kidding. Yeah. No, I know we only have about an hour, but just to give a little bit of background, I think, after coming into the crypto industry, I found that many people in the industry come from all sorts of backgrounds, and nobody came from blockchain or crypto because it's such a new industry. So it's always one of the first things I ask is kind of what they did in the past. I think predominantly a lot of people are from the finance background. However, you have people like me who I'm not a finance background person. Originally, I was born in Taiwan. However, at a very young age, my family immigrated to the United States, and I grew up in New York for most of my life. And growing up, my family ran restaurants. So we were in the Chinese restaurant food business. So growing up, business and money was a huge part of my childhood. At a very early age, I was already, cleaning tables and collecting money and doing all that. So, and I remember the first time money really had an impact on me was using the credit card machines and seeing that you know, these people that came in had a huge meal, could pay for that, not with money, which I was used to, but at that time it was a new concept of credit card. And we had recently gotten in these little machines, and I remember swiping, you know, learning how to use that machine and stuff at a very young age, and I thought that was pretty incredible. And I think throughout my life, I had these little points in my life which connects me to where I am today. So after the basically grade school, graduated high school, I attended university at University of Wisconsin in Madison. And originally, my major was actually I would like to call my original major my mother's major. She wanted me to be a doctor, like many Asians, and you know, 2 years in, I was miserable. I hated it. I didn't like any of the subjects I had. Um, and just I was just really kind of depressed. And throughout my life, I was always a very creative person. So drawing was something that was I really enjoyed. I enjoyed music, and I remember going into my guidance counselor's office and telling him, without the knowledge of my mother, that I wanted to switch majors. And I came upon landscape architecture, which was my major in university. So I majored in landscape architecture, and I finished out the rest of my university and graduated with a landscape architecture degree. And shortly after that, I moved to California, and I became a landscape architect for 10 years. So that has nothing to do with blockchain. And but what I did learn during my landscape architect days was the importance of project management and working teamwork. You know, as in design, there's a lot of team and the different phasings of the projects. So I do think that is kind of where the foundation of my project management skills are, or where they came from. Um, so after my days as landscape architecture, as a landscape architect, during the recession of 2009, I had decided with my wife to leave the US and move to Taiwan. And to me, even though this was the country where I was born, it was still a very foreign place to me, just because culturally, I believe I was more westernized than I was how I looked, you know, which is more Asian. However, I was very eager to reconnect with the roots, basically, of where my family came from. And when I moved back, I was very receptive of the culture here. I learned a lot of sensitivities involved with the cultures and how people work differently here. And when I came back, my original goal was to be a landscape architect. However, the market in here in Taiwan for landscape architecture was quite small. It was very narrow, and it was not a very well respected and well paid position. So quickly, I know I basically decided not to pursue that, and I started the first thing I did was the easiest, the lowest hanging fruit was teaching English, and that was a huge industry here in Taiwan. And this is, mind you, this was like in my 20s, so I'm still kind of young, late 20s. So I was okay with teaching some English. And for about 6 months, I was a substitute teacher. I was a part-time teacher. And after I became, asked me to join their head office team, the headquarter team. And see, it says my internet is unstable here. Okay. Anyways, let me know if this story is too long. I hope I'm not boring anyone.
Go for it. This is great.
Okay.
This is great. Yeah.
So after joining, right away I said, of course, I would love to join kind of a headquarter, and I was brought on as their HR manager. And after just a short 2 years, I became their director of HR, and I basically oversaw the hiring of all the foreign teachers. We had about 50, and And during that time, I also understood the importance of SOPs and project management and the importance of people managing skills. And I did that for 10 years, HR. Um, so when I was about late 30s, I got kind of, I guess my midlife crisis kind of came a little bit early, and I was just like, I really don't want to be doing HR for the rest of my life. I was already pretty much one of the top managers of the company. I reported directly to the owner, and so on my 39th birthday, I remember making a wish. Actually, see, on my 40th birthday, I was still 39 at the time, about to turn 40. And, I've talked to a lot of people and also listened to some of the great minds of the world like Ma Yun. And I remember him saying once that between the age of 40 and 50 is a person's peak or is their prime of their career. And I thought to myself, I said, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? What kind of impact do I want to make? So um, I had previously probably in 2016, I kind of forgot this part. 2016, I started to invest in cryptocurrency. And the way I came upon cryptocurrency was through poker games. I used to have a weekly poker game that I play with my friends, and all sorts of topics were talked about. And cryptocurrency was one that would also always kind of pop up. Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. And at the time, I remember hearing about Bitcoin in the mid or early 2000, 12, maybe 2013, and thinking that it was some sort of a video game money. And I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I remember when it became that Bitcoin was equal to $1. One Bitcoin was $1, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But still, in my mind, it didn't really do anything for me until these poker games started coming about. And we all agreed at the time that we were all going to buy some Bitcoin. And so we did that. And I remember purchasing my first Bitcoin in middle of 2016. At the time, I believe Bitcoin was around $1,200. So after doing that and investing in understanding more about blockchain, I love the idea of the white paper of Bitcoin and what Satoshi stood for. During my 40th birthday, I had asked myself what I wanted to do. And during that time, and I said, when I turn 40 and between the years of 40 and 50, I'm going to do something different. I want to do something that will make more impact on the world. And so very quickly after my 40th birthday, I received a call from one of my friends here in Taiwan. And he was somebody that I met in the crypto circle here in Taiwan. I would attend a lot of meetups. This is all through my kind of self-education of blockchain. And he asked me, he said, hey, are you interested in a position with CoinMarketCap? And I said, are you serious? And and he said, yeah, I met somebody in Thailand at a conference, and they're looking for a global community manager. And I thought you would be the perfect person for that. And I said, wow, really? And I said, of course I'm interested. So immediately I was linked up with somebody at CoinMarketCap, and I started my interviews. The whole interview process took a while, I think, because everyone was so busy. So it took about 3 months before I was hired. But the amazing thing was just how quickly things kind of happened. So my life, basically starting at the age of 40, started to change dramatically. And I had some experience. I started a teacher's Facebook group at the time. So as a community manager, I had some experience there because I was managing about 25,000 teachers in that group. And so it kind of like all these little pieces of my life kind of aligned up for this position at CoinMarketCap. And I was a public speaking champion here in Taiwan. And I talked about some of my history as a restaurant kid, and that these videos can be found on Facebook. It's looking back, it feels so far so long ago. But basically, finally, I joined the CoinMarketCap team, and the CoinMarketCap it was a very small company originally. It was started by CEO Brendan Ches, and he is basically an anonymous figure that people outside of CoinMarketCap don't know who he is, what he looks like, where he lives. But he was my new boss, and at that time, I was number 17th employee. Just 1 year prior to that, in 2018, CoinMarketCap was only two people. It was Brendan Ches and one of his close friends as one of his engineers. And so they grew in just a short year or two. They grew from two employees all the way to about 30 to 35 people. And during that time, I was traveling the world. I was doing a lot of conferences. And I was meeting a lot of new people. The unique thing about CoinMarketCap was that the community existed prior to me joining. And as global community manager, it was unique in that the community existed already, and I needed to corral it. I needed to give it shape and organize what was already out there, which was quite opposite, I think, to what a lot of community managers had to deal with. Which basically they started with a very minimal community and they had to learn to grow it. So it was quite a different challenge that I had. So I did a lot of business development as well. But to skip forward, just to finish my profile a little bit, I had left CoinMarketCap just prior to the Binance acquisition of CoinMarketCap. And I had an opportunity to join B1 Exchange to oversee and expand their overseas business, and did that for just over a year. And recently, with the opportunity at BTCU, which is a tremendous project, I think a huge improvement upon the BTC infrastructure, I decided to join the team. I knew the founder, Nikolai, from when I was at CoinMarketCap. When I was offered the position, I said yes immediately. So here I am. And now I have a great team in Dennis, and you guys can see the team members on btcu.io. I'm so honored to be, with a world-class team here. So
fantastic.
I need a drink of water after that.
No, very good. So Eric, so I want to touch just on the background as well. So after you left CoinMarketCap, you were as well CEO of an exchange out of Singapore, which is one of the most regulated and that's more advanced, both blockchain and crypto markets. And as well, of course, Asia is a very big, prominent, most of the trading in crypto in the world is actually out of Asia. So although the US still gets a lot of credibility. So I would like to touch so first, that experience creating the exchange or being CEO of the exchange. You're not the creator, but you were CEO after the CoinMarketCap. So, and then I want to talk a bit about CoinMarketCap before we go to BTCU.
Sure. Yeah. So at B1, it's pronounced B1. It looks like Bion, but we have to teach people. B1 actually stands for B, which means coin in Chinese, and one means 10,000. So 10,000 coins is basically what B1 stands for. And when I joined the team, I would say almost 90% of their customer base was out of China. So it was registered in Singapore, but most of the customers were in China. And they wanted to desperately spread out around the world and open up their business outside of China. And that's where I came in. And I laid the foundation for their overseas community growth through my experience at CoinMarketCap. I also quickly, I had through my connections, tried to help improve their platform. And we just after about 6 months of me joining the team, we had launched in a very short amount of time B1 2.0, which was a much more stable and much more powerful and a lot faster and efficient platform than what they had before. And the team itself they have some offices. We had offices around the world, in China, in Canada, in the US, as well as in Taiwan. Many of us were decentralized. We were distributed around the world, but we did have an office in some of those cities as well. And it was great while it lasted. And I think just working there in a year, I found out that exchanges for me is not where my passion is, I think. And the business itself, because it was a centralized exchange, and my beliefs kind of clashed a little bit. And with the recent DeFi movement, I really kind of foresaw kind of where I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be in kind of a traditional centralized kind of business. And so with the opportunity at BTCU, with its ability to do all sorts of stuff, including DeFi, smart cities and all that we'll talk about a little bit later, it was the perfect opportunity. And after seeing the team, meeting with the team, it was a very easy yes for me. So
amazing. So I want to touch just, I think it's quite interesting, your background, because like you said, even in the most awkward experience in our life, there's kind of tips for the next stage, and as well a lot of roots. And like you mentioned, your education starting by your master or your degree in architecture, which is very important. Architecture, we cannot, because everything is about architecture, about setting up an architecture, point one, but as well then your education from the US to Taiwan, and as your experience as well managing a big network of teachers, which is not a simple task, and it's a massive thing as well. And then as well going to CoinMarketCap, which is a fantastic background, because at the end of the day, CoinMarketCap is a social network by all means. It's a network of people trading and looking at registering their tokens. But sometimes people forget that. But when you think about crypto, people only think about people sometimes trading Bitcoin and making a lot of money on that, but they forget there's an entire industry around that. So I want to touch that experience, especially with CoinMarketCap, because you were in a key period of growing where we went from probably 1,000 cryptos to 6,000 to 10,000 right now. I think at the moment, I didn't check today, but that's probably around 10,000. Actually, it's good. I'll do it during the call, but we might.
It's probably more.
Yeah, I think listed right now, if I go as we speak, definitely. So yeah, we have 8,364 tokens. So this is official CoinMarketCap. So can you tell us a bit about your experience in CoinMarketCap and a bit this community managed? Because I think at the end of the day, it's the key website for people looking at crypto, looking at registering tokens, looking at the price going up and down. But as well, there's a huge influence around the platform that is probably the biggest traffic as well website in crypto in the world, or one of the top ones.
That's right. When I joined CoinMarketCap, I actually didn't understand how important CoinMarketCap was to the crypto industry. And CoinMarketCap is, without a doubt, the authority in terms of pricing and exchange information, basically data aggregator. And when I joined CoinMarketCap, I just thought it was a website. It was an American company. And I thought, it felt like a startup. And a lot of the people on the team didn't have finance or crypto background. They were like me. And we would have trips and gatherings during conferences around the world. And after I met them, I felt very comfortable because I didn't feel like, how do I say, like I didn't belong because of my certain background that I had. So everyone came from different backgrounds. And so my experience at CoinMarketCap was the thing I gained the most was working with the community and learning kind of what this whole ecosystem of cryptocurrency and blockchain was about, and how far-reaching it was. I started before that, they didn't really have a community in terms of like formally. They didn't have a Telegram. I created the Telegram, and I think currently there, there are, I don't know, maybe 200,000 now, and these are all organic members joining under the community. So one of the, I'm kind of lost. What was your question again?
Yeah, the question is your experience. You touched partly on that, but the experience managing both the community of CoinMarketCap and as well how do you saw the growth as well of that community and some of the things for people outside of that
All right.
of course are using CoinMarketCap. Even for me, it's always cool to hear the inside history. At least, of course, whatever you can put public.
Sure. The growth of CoinMarketCap occurred very quickly in line with the market. And, if we looked at the traffic on CoinMarketCap, it was directly related to kind of the price and the movement of the market. And when the market was hot, the visits were super high. I believe during the 2017 bull run, CoinMarketCap was ranked number maybe 76 was its highest on Alexa in terms of the most visited websites in the world. 76 doesn't sound very high, but actually when you think about
Well,
all the
it's
websites in
massive.
the world,
It's massive.
it's very high. Yeah. So there was a huge outreach in terms of it was the front page of crypto essentially, and everything went through there. And the growth of it just kind of happened very quickly and without really any planning in terms of it wasn't any like particular concrete planning on exactly how we were going to grow any specific area. But because the team was so small, we were only able to focus on what we could. And a lot of it had to do with the services that we gave to the crypto industry. So we answered a lot of questions, customer service wise. We had a great team for response time for those. If there was crashes on the website, or if there was any information missing for exchanges, there's a lot of back and forth. So as the global community manager, I was kind of I was the main window for a lot of those because people didn't know that. I remember going to my first conference that people were like, wait, you're CoinMarketCap? Like they saw our booth and they were like, I didn't think people actually worked at CoinMarketCap. So they just thought it was a website and they didn't understand, like they'd never seen anybody from CoinMarketCap. So since I was kind of the front line of CoinMarketCap, a lot of exchanges reached out to me, a lot of just users of CoinMarketCap, and just random people from all over the world who want to learn more about crypto. One of our main focuses, I remembered at CoinMarketCap, was education. And with my background in education, I think that was another reason why the global community manager was such a good fit for me. We focused on educating the crypto sphere so that we can have better adoption of the mainstream adoption of crypto. And so we had some initiatives on not only our website, but across our social media in terms of just educating people about what cryptocurrency is. And I started a bot service on Telegram, which was, I try to think of creative ways to make educating cryptocurrencies to the people fun. So there was a AI, it was a program called Bulletin. And basically it was an AI bot that that I had programmed, and people can go in on a daily basis and get their news on what's going on in the crypto industry through interaction. It feels like you're chatting with somebody, and it's through buttons and responses. And they would get education during the session, and each day they would get about less than 5 minutes of information and interaction through this AI bot. So that was just one of the creative ways that CoinMarketCap at the time had thought about, on helping the community and growing the community. So, yeah.
That's quite amazing. And actually, it's important as well to explain, I think, for people listening to us, I think your expertise, because I think people miscalculate 90% of the success of any token on a crypto is about the community. And it's about as well the engagement with platforms like CoinMarketCap and of course all the Cointelegraphs and all the media parts. And even this is quite interesting if you make an analogy with the general trading. You have Nasdaq, you have all these kind of big platforms, and they have as well the same platforms. You have to look, even if you look at the last markets with the growth again explosive of Bitcoin and crypto in general, and as well with past $1 trillion. But this is all based on media, and even for the Reddit community right now in the last couple of weeks, making this craziness about a lot of different things. So fantastic background, and I think this is kind of very interesting for people listening to us. So I want to go to BTCU. So BTCU is really quite ambitious, to say less, and I think it touches, first of all, a fork of Bitcoin. Let's start by the vision and what is BTCU for people that never heard about it.
Sure. BTCU is what I believe. It's not just a fork of Bitcoin. It's far from that. I think it's 2 or 3 tiers improvement on the current ecosystem of Bitcoin. Most people know Bitcoin as a store of value, I think, for the most part, even though it was originally designed as a peer-to-peer e-payment system. But we all know that it has a lot of weaknesses when it comes to that, and regarding scaling and block size and all that. And so BTCU looks to solve a lot of those issues and beyond. And one of the things that is that it has the ability to create a decentralized ecosystem through smart contracts. And it's got integrated the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine, so that we're allowed to tokenize projects as well as do DeFi implementation. And something that, Dennis, you probably know a lot about is the smart city and digital currencies for governments around the world. And that right there is something that Bitcoin cannot do. And we all know Ethereum is a lot of times it's kind of haunted by high gas fees and prices and the scaling issues of Ethereum. Even though they are working on it, it's still going to continue to be a problem. So BTCU is another ecosystem for that. One of the other things that BTCU solves is the mining issues that is related with proof of work. So with Ethereum, it's proof of stake. But in terms of scalability, I think BTCU beats both of those. And BTCU has a leased proof of stake system, which for the mining algorithm. And then also for the validating aspect of it, there's the proof of authority. So we do that through the BTCU. The U stands for Ultimatum. So UPOS, Ultimatum Point of Stake. And it is Ultimatum Proof of Stake is a combination of these proof of stake for mining and proof of authority for validation. So the system itself makes it a very democratic, it's very scalable, and it's utilizes a lot less energy than proof of work. So that is one of the huge improvements. And the system itself is based on the reputation of miners and validators. If there's any kind of errors or issues, maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep into it, but it is based on reputation, and it will get replaced. They will get replaced. So that is something I think for scalability wise, it's a lot more. Transactions per second is much higher. So I think at the base of it, it's 200 transactions per second compared to Bitcoin, which is less than 4 transactions per second. I believe it's like 3.7 transactions per second. So we're already multipliers of that, and we're able to scale ourselves to about 10,000 transactions per second, and compared to something like maybe we're familiar with like Visa and MasterCard. I believe Visa and MasterCard are about at around 2,300 transactions per second. And so we could be 4 or 5 times faster than that. So scalability is awesome. And we also have, there's a lot of discussions about privacy coins. even though we are not a privacy coin, we have the ability at BTCU to make transactions private, and which makes it's optional. So it's based on the zero coin protocol, and whenever a transaction is done on BTCU, you can make it private by transferring it into transforming it into ZBTCU, and you can split it up into many kind of payments, and then converting that back to BTCU. So that is one way transactions can remain private on BTCU. And lastly, which is still in development, is our atomic swaps on BTCU, which will allow for communication and interoperability with many different networks, and that won't be happening or won't be completed until May of probably 2022. So those are kind of the main core things for BTCU, and it's an amazing project, and we're continually looking for other ways to expand upon that and making that even better.
No, amazing, and I think you synthesize it very well and very eloquently. So I think in terms of, so you touched a bit that, but if you could just go in terms of the product and roadmap, like the major things that you think are going to be, and because of course it's very ambitious, point one, because what it's trying to do is kind of, I think the ambition is really massive. And I think, of course, we need to put the ambition with down to earth as well. And with the foundation, if you use the metaphor of architecture again, you need to put the engineering, the foundation parts, and then building the building, because it's not easy. And I think a lot of things you've been touching, especially in the vision of BTCU, is that the blockchain industry is still in its early days, and people forget that it's only 10 years. And actually, if you look at most of the developers were the last 3 years, I'm talking purely from a blockchain infrastructure. But in the crypto, it's been 10 years, and of course, a lot of ups and downs. But the maturity of the crypto industry right now is mainstream, and I think even probably the most haters, or at least the deniers right now, they just have to understand that no way. And at the same time is as well becoming a way of digitizing the entire world and the entire economy from the central banks, digital currencies, where China is already moving forward. The US, the UK, Europe, and so forth are right now working in projects. But I think the challenge, like you mentioned, is how you make these. And for instance, one thing I think I want to touch as well, which you touch especially in the conversions of crypto and the different transactions. If you go to countries like Argentina or Venezuela or Africa, Bitcoin is actually very important, because it's probably the only currency people can use that is somehow trusted, because the rest of the local international currencies are a complete nightmare. So, but I want to just go through this roadmap, and you mentioned the atomic swaps, you mentioned the fork, and as well then there's the solutions for the marketplace in terms of smart cities and property. But if a bit of top level product roadmap just for people listening to us.
Sure. I think the initial thing that is the main focus right now is the BTC fork. And the fork itself is very close, right around the corner. Right now, I think we're about 4 days away for the fork. And with the fork, it's going to be, we're basically going to be doing airdrops of BTCU for any holders of BTC. So you can take part through our website at btcu.io, or and then satisfying all the requirements, or we are actually working with tier 1 exchanges right now, still confirming on a couple of things, and all using those exchanges to receive airdrops through the BTCU wallets as well. So that is probably our main thing. We have a huge community that is waiting for this airdrop. It will happen. It's just that we are finalizing a lot of details with exchanges on that. After the launch of BTCU, oh, by the way, the testnet is already out. We have our codes and everything on GitHub, and people can go and review those as well. Everything's running great, and right now, like I said, we're just waiting for that airdrop. So in February, we're going to announce, well, I guess we already have a partnership with Cities ABC as a part of Tech ABC Platforms and Smart Cities Index. So that's really exciting, and thanks to Dennis. And after that, we're going to continue to develop BTCU. Let's see, continue to list most of our on most of the exchanges out there, both centralized and decentralized, and and then moving forward, we will have obviously the smart contracts development. We will have probably community events and different events with developers, and trying to continue to build our smart contract systems. And moving to the May of 2022, where hopefully the atomic swap will be ready to go. So that is kind of our roadmap. You can check out our roadmap on our white paper too. It's at the end of the white paper on the project roadmap, if you want to check that out.
Fantastic. So Eric, just as a more, let's say, for people, and I think there's a lot of people right now trading Bitcoin, especially with the crazy prices, and as well all the opportunities coming in the crypto industry, but especially in Bitcoin. So can you just tell us how it works? You touch a bit, but just for people that are interested in the airdrop and to be involved on this. I know that there will be a couple of exchanges involved and there's negotiations going on, but just top level, how does it work? Because there were previous Bitcoin forks, and I know that is not just the main focus, but at least it's the short one. Is like you mentioned, we are in, this interview is done on the 1st of February. And of course, we'll be live in the next couple of days. But I think it's during the fork is going to happen during the month of February 2021. So just a bit of an overview how that goes, how it goes to how it's going to work. And as well for the people that have Bitcoin and they want to get engaged with this, how they can actually get in.
Right. Simply said, I mean, if you want BTCU before the fork, just sign up on our website and fulfill the requirements that are part of as a part of the airdrop. You have to create a wallet. For the exchanges and the cooperation with them, by having Bitcoin, BTC in your wallet at the time of the fork, you will receive a 1-to-1 ratio airdrop of BTC in your wallet as well. So once you have it, then you're able to trade it. You're able to invest. You're able to start using BTCU from your wallets. Is there anything you wanted to add on that? I know.
No, I think it's important just for people that, of course, not everyone is an expert in the industry, but people sometimes they just want to ask, and I think is important. So the other thing I want to touch when it comes to the product roadmap is, so you touched the atomic swaps, and I know that there's a huge amount of technology going on, and that's why I'm actually excited with this project as well, because like you mentioned, even if we just fix a couple of things that you mentioned, it's already a big breakthrough. I think a lot of these things is not about, we're not going to change everything, and there's not the idea, but and that as well, of course, legal disclaimer, I'm involved in the project. So I think like any project, it can succeed and fail, but I think there's a great team here. There's people that are excited about this, and I think we want to manage the expectations. So I think would like just a bit, if you could elaborate a bit on the atomic swaps for people that have heard, first of all, what is an atomic swap? And then secondly, to just top level. Of course, we're not, neither you, neither me are engineers, but I think it's important to explain to people listening to us.
Yeah, I'll try to put it in layman terms because that's kind of the only way I can kind of explain it since I'm not a dev. But I understand atomic swaps are basically you can exchange from one token or a coin into another token or a coin without having an intermediary trading pair. So for instance, if you have BTC and you want BTCU, if there isn't a BTC to BTCU trading pair, then you would have to go to BTC to Ethereum, and then from Ethereum to BTCU, for instance. Maybe that's not the greatest example. Maybe I should choose another token like, I don't know, maybe Aave or something, or Tron or something like that. So you're not able, so basically an atomic swap will allow you to go from a token like say XRP to BTCU directly without having to change it and transact twice before getting your BTCU. So what that really allows people to do is, in terms of wallets, for instance, when you have atomic swaps in wallets and also in DeFi platforms, it really saves, number one, a lot of hassle in doing that. It saves on transaction fees and all that, and gas fees. But also it will allow the interoperability of a lot of the different platforms, making it a lot more accessible to a lot of projects out there. So wallets are able to kind of just switch and change BTCU into other coins that they want to use, which will help with, I believe, mainstream adoption. It's just a lot more usable, a lot more practical. I don't know if that was the best explanation of a
No, no,
atomic
but
swap.
I think you put it. I think it's in the nutshell is that, and I think it's like you mentioned. Neither you, neither me are experts in this kind of.
Yeah,
And this is actually very complex, but I think it's
it
really
is.
a big thing in terms of peer-to-peer exchange of cryptocurrencies from one party to the other. And I think if that gets well, or at least if you can mature that, will increase the cryptocurrencies exchange and as well even just money exchange, because that's the problem right now is that even mistakes, let's say I lost a Bitcoin in the past, and I'm quite probably lucky compared to a lot of people that are in the industry that lost much more.
Yes.
At least at the time it was not as big as it is now, but that was mostly because of that was actually just in Bitcoin. But for instance, Bitcoin Cash, I lost actually quite a substantial because there was an exchange that changed to another one, and this is the things that because some of the hash and the way the configuration was done, it was not done in a way that the other exchange will understand, and these nuances make a massive damage, especially for people that are not like super technical. And of course, we want to take cryptocurrencies to masses, but as well do it in a safe and as well trustful wise, because I think it's key. One of the things I've been always very careful, especially in my hat as crypto ambassador and as well passionate person, is that this has to be about creating value. I think we have enough issues all over the world. So very good. So continuing on this, and I think in the scope of time as well. So in terms of one of the projects that you have, and you touch it, and I'm involved on that, but I would like to hear it from you. So you have been working in the marketplace, and that's part of the solution of creating a wallet in the marketplace to tokenize assets. And one of the things, like you mentioned, is the idea of tokenizing services for cities. So do you want to just elaborate a bit on that? Of course, I'm as well involved, but I think it's you as CEO. I would like to hear from you.
Sure. I think tokenization of assets has been happening for the last couple of years. However, with the BTCU, we're making it easier to do that, and with the such features such as atomic swap, and also our the platform with the smart contracts, it makes it easier and easier to do tokenization of projects. So you can create your own assets on our blockchain, as well as DeFi implementation we mentioned earlier. And I think even more in depth, I think with what you'll probably explain a little bit more, is the smart cities and creating and working with cities around the world. I think believe there's like over 20 now that we're working with to create tokenized assets and to create value for its citizens. Digital currencies for other governments around the world can also use our platform to create their digital currencies, which I think more and more governments are moving towards. As we know, China already came up with their digital renminbi. I'm sure the U.S. Will follow soon with that. And we had some other precedents of Venezuela having their own digital currencies, although not as probably successful as some of the others. But so that is basically, yeah, our tokenization. Maybe you could talk a little bit more on that, Dennis, since I'm probably not explaining it as well.
No, I think you touched it very well. So I will just elaborate a bit, and of course there will be other videos. Like you mentioned, you're an expert in communities. We'll create more videos and more lives. Of course, this is all early stage. But one of the things that we working together is to create specific solutions for cities and smart cities, as the smart cities. Well, any city is becoming a smart city because you have to digitize a lot of different things. And we're starting right now to provide things in relationship to property and land registration. And we have already a partnership with a FCA regulated company in the UK, where we're going to be exploring the relationship to create some digitizing and creating smart contracts for people that want to register property in the marketplace. And that's where BTCU blockchain is going to be helping facilitating this digitalization and do it in the right way, because I'm quite excited about that. And it's quite unique because I think with the exception of a couple of case studies like Dubai, where Dr. Marwan and the blockchain Dubai had been working to register most of the land registration, and as well Estonia and a couple of other countries, there's not really like mainstream part, but this is probably the most important thing. And the property industry is $1 trillion business. So anything that we can do to accelerate just registration of property is going to make a big difference. So I think we have two major projects going on. There's the Smart Cities Index, so looking at the top 150 smart cities in the world and creating an index that can create real-time data and using blockchain to make sure that the data is compliance and getting from the right sources. And then, of course, under the property registration, which I think is going to be a big thing. And I'm sure that you and me, Eric, will explain this more in a next interview. So sure. I think then I think we went through the most important things of this, and I think just I think very important thing, giving your hat as CEO and as well community leader. So how do you want to look at the community building of BTCU? Because we are only in early days. In the end of the day, it's mostly, like you mentioned, the fork is starting right now. Everything is starting right now because the team, although there's been almost 1 year of work on the technology, the public phase of the project is starting right now. And there's as well a huge team, like you mentioned. So I don't know if you want to highlight the vision on this level of the community building and the people that are already, like you mentioned, interested to be part of the fork, but as well be part of other things. How do you suggest, especially being you a global leader on that area?
Right now, there are a lot of eager participants in the community who are waiting for the fork, and we're just around the corner from that. So really appreciate their patience with that. Our community is not just for traders and investors of the token, of the coin, but we're looking to build a community for users and developers and people who want to understand and teach more about the ability or the assets that BTCU can tokenize and use around the world. Basically, BTCU it's got so many ways that it can be used to help and improve upon blockchain and the use of crypto in this world. Our community is going to involve and include all that, and not only the people who are directly involved, but also KOLs, key leaders, industry leaders who can teach and educate people about cryptocurrencies, as well as just, the institutions, the existing institutionalized industries that are not really kind of connected with blockchain just yet. And we want to reach out, and those people will also be part of our community in terms of teaching and understanding and how to use blockchain to improve their business and add value to what they already have. So we plan on doing that just through a lot of marketing initiatives, as well as, we had a meeting a couple nights ago about, it just looked like a web of different ways that we're going to reach out to the communities. It's going to be a massive marketing push. We're going to let people learn and understand more about BTCU. So right now we're just really focused on the fork itself, and shortly after the fork we will get started on the things I just talked about.
Fantastic, and I'm looking forward to work with you and all the different people. I think if you want just to read a bit of course, this is available in the white paper, but for people listening to us that don't have time to read the 50 pages of the white paper, just summary of, especially the roadmap. You touched some of these things, but repeat it. But I think it's important. We're going to take as well some excerpts of the interview and put it in other parts, and I can help you as well. But I think it's really important, and I think it shows as well the ambition, but as well the down to earth. And I like you put it, of course, this is a new project. We want to succeed in everything from day one. And very important, if you look at Ethereum, that has been going for a long time, it still has a lot of flows and a lot of delays and a lot of challenges. And if you look at Cardano,
Yep.
that is still one of the multi-billion-dollar tokens that has almost nothing that you can use besides of course, there's a massive research. So bear in mind and be patient, because Rome was not done in one day, like they say. So I'll pass just a bit of roadmap
That's
on
right.
that, Eric, and shortcuts and the things that we're going to be doing that are really happening.
Sure. So besides the partnership with Cities ABC and Platform Smart Cities Index, in April of this year, we're looking to integrate atomic swap technology. We're going to start work on the integration of the atomic swap that we just discussed. In May of this year, we're looking to work with mobile wallets and lead global universities through Cities ABC IDNA platform with partners, and we want to make sure that a lot of, excuse me, I want to make sure that a lot of key members of the education and academic portions of the world to be involved in BTCU as well. July, we're looking to test the network for switching to a non-linear protocol. September, there will be Smart Cities Platform, Cities ABC, and network of global universities. We just talked about first pilot rank of top world smart cities and property registration, and organizing hackathons for developers and to improve and innovate better kind of versions of the protocol. Because as you know, developers are a huge part of the community, because they're the ones that really come from different angles and try to see ways, look at weaknesses of certain protocols and improve upon, and help us improve upon them. So January of next year, we're looking for updates and beginnings on the work of product solutions based on the protocol, following results of hackathons that we will organize around the world, carrying out tests on vulnerabilities of our atomic swap, for instance. These are just some of them. Tokenization marketplace. We're talking about master nodes and validators in the community, how to create those pools and teaching people how to do those, involving more and growing our master nodes. We have a master node and validator schedule that's in our white paper as well. As more and more users come on, we will need to scale on that as well. And then slowly we will transition into, as we transition into a non-linear technology of the protocol, we'll probably soft fork somewhere down the road as well. Let's see.
No, that's already, I think you touched everything.
I think that's most of it.
No, fantastic.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think, Eric, so I think just the last part, and I think is where people can find us. I think, of course, you mentioned the website, and we're going to put all the links across the interview, and this interview will be distributed in major podcasts and all over the internet. But I think just for the community part, because of course it's one of your expertise, and I think it's important, like you mentioned, there's already different channels, but I think the ones that you're going to be prioritizing in your leadership, and as well the ones where we're going to actually having some things, of course, like you mentioned, there will be lives, there will be a lot of events that you're going to be doing.
That's right. You could also join our Telegram community. We have a fast growing Telegram community. You can find us on Telegram, BTCU group. And right now we have just over 11,000 organic members, and a very active community there. You can find us on Twitter, and Twitter is where we will do most of our main updates. Let me just So on Twitter is at BTCU_IO. And you could go to Twitter and kind of follow us and get the latest updates on the fork and anything else involved with BTCU. And, you know, we will also have eventually ambassador programs. I love ambassador programs because it's a great way to get the community to benefit and also help the project. I think one of the most important things on helping to grow a project is to get the community vested. And I think when community members become vested in a project and they feel like it's a part of their own, that is when you really don't have to do much as a project to have people really get involved and do the work that's needed to educate and to grow the project. So we will find many different ways to get the community involved and invested in the project as well. You could,
That's
you know, find
fantastic.
us on other, yeah, Facebook. I think we're on Facebook as well, of course. All of the socials that you need. You could just search BTCU and find us on there or at the bottom of our website.
Fantastic. So I think we went through the most things. So it's been a fantastic year. So I think people can find all of this in the btcu.io, and definitely as well Medium and LinkedIn and the Instagram, that there's a lot of things happening. So I think, Eric, thank you so much. It's really inspiring. And I think I'm looking forward to work with you. And I think all the people that are listening to us that are interested on this. Of course, there's a lot of things, a lot of ambition, a lot of hard work to be done. But I think there's as well a very down to earth and the fantastic technology and community around the world, like you mentioned, with 11,000 members right now, especially on Telegram, that is probably the most dynamic, and Twitter as well. And I think we're going to be trying to push this forward. Thank you so much, Eric, and
Thank you, Dennis.
looking forward as well to hear from all of this.
Yes, such a good project. I'm so excited. And I apologize to all the listeners and viewers out there if I was speaking too fast. I tend to speak really quickly once I get really excited about something. So I'm gonna have to watch the video again and see see how fast I was actually speaking.
No, I think you went very well, and I think it was very eloquent as well. And I think your background, I think, just explains the priority of building a very solid, grounded, but as well ambitious project. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day.